This is Professor Johnson making a brief video about how to do the Found Objects Procedure assignment. First of all, you need to find some objects. Now, the easiest thing to do when you're sitting in your office at your computer is to look around you and find some objects. For instance, you can easily find a piece of paper, 8.5 by 11. Very handy. You can do all sorts of things with it. You can also easily find tape. Tape's something that everybody has. Tape is very useful. Okay. Staplers, you probably don't want to use that. Pens, pencils, paper clips, all of this stuff can be used. The purpose of this assignment is to learn how to write directions on how to make something using no pictures so that someone else can replicate your actions, which is actually more difficult than it sounds. Depending on what you're going to make, you're going to have to bring these supplies with you when you come into class, when you're going to have 3 people test your set of directions. Now I'm going to make something and then quickly type up a set of directions so that you can see how it's done. Okay, so here I have my equipment which I'm going to use, starting with a piece of paper, and I'm doing this off the top of my head basically. As you can too, this is a creative assignment. You can probably already tell what I'm making. Okay, I want one in between those 2 sizes. This appears to be in between those 2 sizes. Okay, there we go. I've got the parts, or at least some of the parts. Now I have not yet thought through how I'm going to put them together. Tried and tested tape. And if you take a piece of tape like that, and then you go like, let's see, how do I want it? Like that. It needs to be balanced. And then you go like that, squash it all down, helps the balance. Okay, now what we need is eyes and arms and possibly a nose. More objects. Let's see, I know I have some push pins in here somewhere. Okay, there's one eye. There's another eye. Let's see. Let me think about this. I'm turning this off for a second. Okay, I decided to take a paper clip and unfold it and then fold it in half and poke it in here like this to use it as an arm. So now I have a snowman made out of paper, sort of. And the next step in this project is to take a camera, and if you don't have a digital camera, you can borrow somebody else's. By now, everybody should have a digital camera. It's like having a pen or a pencil. Digital cameras are a necessity today in our everyday life. So you take your digital camera And I give you permission, since I did not assign a textbook in this class, to use the money and go out and buy a digital camera. And if worse comes to worse, you can borrow one from Instructional Media Services over in the basement of GITC. The next step when you're done is to take a picture of your object. Oh, that one was a little washed out because of the flash, so now I'll do one without the flash. Now when you come to class, you're not going to bring, you don't need to bring the picture, you just need to bring 3 sets of the directions on how to make your object and the materials necessary to make your object. And as soon as you get to class, we're going to switch them. So everybody's going to test 3 of these to see how well your directions work. So this is the type of object you can make. Now I'm going to demonstrate how you would write this up most easily in Word. First of all, write a title. How to create a snowman. No, that's wrong. You don't want to say what it is that you've made in the title. The purpose of this assignment is to make sure that other people can use your directions to see whatever it is that you're making. So instead, how to create object. There's your title. By the way, I always work with the show hide, this is a paragraph marking turned on. You're probably not used to it. Without it, it looks like this. With it, it looks like this. If you ever end up using Word a lot in your future jobs, it's very helpful if you leave this on, and I always work with it on. Okay, so step number 1 was to take 8.5 by 11 paper and crumple into a ball. Now I don't put the numbering in right away because Word does it much more easily for you if you write the steps first and then apply the numbering afterwards. So that's step number 1. Take another piece of paper and crumple it into a smaller ball. Take a half of a piece of paper and crumple it into an even smaller ball. That should be pretty clear. Okay, so we have 3 balls there, right? Right. Let's see. Stack 1 ball on top of the next with the largest at the bottom and the smallest at the top. Attach by using tape. Now I could tell them that you can fold the tape over on itself and put it in between the pieces, but that's kind of complicated and people can probably use other methods. Okay, I'll do it. I'll add that step. You can do this by folding the tape in on itself and putting the sticky edges between the balls. That's part of the same step, and that's why I didn't make it into a separate number. Okay. Take 2 push pins and place in the smallest top ball so that they look like eyes. Take 2 paper clips and unbend them so that they are straight. Bend insert one end of the paper of each paper clip. Into the middle ball so that they are like arms. By this point, the user should know what this is supposed to be. And that's it. The end. Don't put in any pictures, use only words, don't use any descriptive words. Now I go ahead and highlight this, bold it, make the font larger, and then I highlight the rest and give it numbers by just going up to where the numbering is, and that's it. Now, the only things that I want to tell you about this is keep your steps short. They're easier to understand. You never should go more than 12 steps. So if you have something very complicated and it ends up being 24 steps, separate it into 2 parts and keep each part under 12 steps. Also leave space in between your steps because it makes it easier for the person who's actually focusing on building the thing to read. So this is what I want you to bring to class. Bring 3 copies of the directions and bring the materials to make it with. If it requires tape, don't bother bring the tape. By now I have so much tape that I don't know what to do with it. I'll bring that to class. And come to class early because I'm going to distribute these among everyone, and anybody who comes late, you may or may not get yours tested. This is the only way you're going to find out if your directions work or not, is by testing them. And then later you'll use the critiques from your classmates and revise it and make it into a fully formatted document that I have a template for. And at that point you can include both the photo that you took and the photos that I'm going to take of the test results during class. So that's the assignment. Go ahead, let's have fun.